Hi everyone, and welcome back to Balkan Sis, the show that's going to help you navigate the massive challenges of life, motherhood, culture, identity, and belonging with more ease, acceptance, joy, and purpose. Thanks to each and every one of you that come back every time to listen, learn, heal, and feel inspired. If you do love the podcast, then do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. It really does help spread the word. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Balkan Sis. I have a very special and exciting guest here for you today. It's actually my little
niece.
Yay! So this is a bit of an impromptu, spontaneous recording because my little niece is actually staying at my house for a couple of days, and we thought it'd be really fun and creative to do a podcast episode together. And I thought it'd be a really wonderful way to have this awesome memory and something that we can have as we get older that we can listen back on and have a laugh. And it'll be a really great way to create something together that we can have together forever and that the little cousins can listen to as well. So without further ado, I'm going to let Bella introduce herself. So Bella.
My name is Bella and I'm 12 years old. And I love to go out adventuring and I love to try out new things and I love to explore the world and travel.
Oh, how exciting. Okay, so we've got a few questions, but we can veer off. We don't have to stick to all the questions, but we thought it would be a really great way to start off with something lighthearted and fun. We're going to be talking about school. We're going to be talking about becoming a teenager, becoming a young adult, growing up, going from small school to big school. We're going to be talking about the future. We're going to talk about AI, screen time, social media. What else are we going to be talking about, Bella?
Family, tradition, my future, immigration and the family history.
Yep. We're going to be covering a lot of topics. You know, what it's like growing up in today's world, being a young woman, your take on life, and then we're going to do some fun rapid fire questions to finish it up and wrap it up. So we don't know how long it's going to go for. We have 0 players. We have a rough plan. We've done it all this morning over coffee and breakfast. So Are you excited?
Yes, very.
Okay, I'm going to make sure I don't hog the microphone too much because I want you to be the star. So if you've all been listening long enough, you know that my family means the absolute world to me. I love these kids like they're my own. And I'll try not to get emotional and cry because I'm a crier, you know that. And Bella's she's just absolutely amazing ever since she was a little girl. I remember the first moment your mum told me she was pregnant with you, and I just lost it. And ever since then, I haven't been able to compose myself. Every time I'm around you, I'm just happy, giddy, and excited and inspired, and yeah, very lucky to be your auntie. All right, without further ado, we're gonna go right into some fun and light-hearted questions. Bella, tell me what's something that made you laugh this week.
As you mentioned at the start, I have been hanging out with you and the rest of my family for most of this week. And one thing that really made me laugh was just hanging out with family. They never fail to make me laugh. And it's really something that I enjoy deeply to hang out with them. So that's definitely one thing that made me laugh.
Well, lucky to be able to laugh with you. And what is your current obsession? A song, a snack, a show, or something else? I think I know the answer to this one.
Okay. It might be a little bit different than what you think, but I love jewelry making at the moment. And I just really enjoy how it can be really tailored to you because there's so many different types of jewelry making. Like the art of jewelry making, it's so different. And you can make it what you want to be and just really make it truly tailored to you.
You do make nice jewelry. You've made stuff for me as well. And you've got quite a bit of cash too. Quite generous bunch, aren't we? Yeah, Diddy gives you money, like all of us. But you deserve it because you make really nice things. And one thing I forget to mention was, can you tell everyone who's listening all over the world, all these wonderful sisters, how we're related? How am I your auntie?
So, she is my mother's sister.
Yes.
And that is how we're related.
Yes, because I forgot to mention that at the beginning. And what about, you said current obsession, so making jewelry, which is actually a really healthy obsession.
Yes.
What about snacking?
I love snacking, but sometimes I try and contain myself, but it doesn't always work out.
What about M&M's, peanut M&M's?
I love M&M's. I love M&M's.
We've been buying lots of bags.
If anyone else out there loves watching M&M's, watching M&M's, loves eating M&M's, I love watching M&M's as well. But if anyone out there loves eating M&M's, not watching them, you're not alone. I love M&M's so much.
Me too. And it's funny because we bought a few every time I go to the shops. I'm like, we need to buy some M&M's for Bella. And I'm
glad you're always thinking of me.
Every time I see M&M's now, I think of you. So, Bella, what's something that you were really... We're going to jump into the school and the growing up aspect, right? Because you're 12. So, for anybody who doesn't live in Australia, basically, can you explain what age you start high school and what grade that is?
So... we have prep, which is pre-kindergarten in some other countries, and it goes all the way up to year 6. So in year 6, you'll be about 11 and 12, and then you'll move into high school, which can either be, I go to a college, which means that it's just on the other side of the school, so I just walk right across the field and there's the high school. But for some other schools, you have to go to a completely different high school, different facility, and you have to completely change and meet new people. But when you start high school, you can be between 12, 13, also depending on the situation and different schooling,
when you were
birthday,
born.
of course.
Yeah.
It goes up to year 6, and then year 7 all the way to year 12. That is our high school experience.
Yeah. And how do you like your high school so far?
I love my high school. I love the environment, and I love the kindness and the almost, I don't know, you could say warmth that my school brings, when you walk in, and it's just really lovely.
It's a really nice school, I must say. And what's something that you were really nervous about starting high school, and how did it turn out?
I think I was mostly nervous about the independence, and also when you walk around to your different class. But I found that it's actually quite easy. You just follow around other people in your class. But I think that was definitely one of the things I was nervous about, just because I didn't know how I was going to go, or where I was going to, if I knew where I was going to go, or if I was just going to get completely lost and end up somewhere else. But it turned out pretty great for me, and I'm a master at it now.
And it's always like that, isn't it? We have this lead up and this build up to something new. And then it's always bigger than what it is, right? And then when we actually start doing it, we realize, it's not that bad. But I think you did really well transitioning from primary school to high school. And what is your favorite subject or class right now, and why?
My favorite subject in class is probably science, because at the moment we're doing a lot of ecology studies, plants, environmental changes, human impact, all those sorts of things, and how agriculture has changed and how it impacts in urbanized areas. So I really enjoy that at the moment, and I love my science teacher. He's really a fun guy, and he's a joy to be around. So that's probably my favorite subject at the moment.
I love it. And are you more of a maths brain, a creative soul, a sporty girl, or a bit of everything? So there doesn't have to be a label. I don't believe in labels and saying in school used to have these kids who did this and these kids who did that. Maybe you're a kid who does a bit of everything. I don't like grouping people into different categories in that way. But what is something that you're more attracted to than other things at school in terms of subjects?
I think I could say I'm a bit of everything, but I definitely lean more towards the creative side. So arts, drama, and science is also extremely creative as well. That's hence why I like it. But at the moment I've become more of a sporty girl. I've definitely gained more confidence as moving into high school, which I find very interesting. Going back to the last question, something I'm nervous, I was scared that since there's lots of, you could say, older students and it's a lot more independent environment, I was nervous that I was going to not be as confident, but I've actually gained more confidence from this experience. So I definitely think I've become more of a sporty girl. I love being creative, of course, but I've been playing lots of sports and trying new things out and just really exploring my options at the moment.
I love that. You're a very multifaceted, beautiful human being who is actually very good at everything. It's really sweet. So when you imagine your future, what do you see? Is there any dream jobs or places to live or goals or anything like that? And that's, it can be, when I say future, it can even just be in the next 3 months or 6 months. Doesn't have to be something that's years away.
Yeah. For my future, I do think about it quite a bit, and I understand that at the moment, also at the age that I am, you don't have to be exploring your future, but I just find a lot of comfort in exploring my options. In the future, if we're talking like long term, once I finish school and like, I hope to go to university, and at the moment I'm enjoying like nursing and also hematology. So some of the sisters out there who don't know what that is, it's basically when you study blood in a laboratory and you look at all the different cells in there, which I find extremely interesting at the moment. But in my future, if we are, yes, talking about like future jobs, I definitely hope to go to university and accomplish something bigger or start my own business, which I have been trying to do.
You've started a lot of businesses.
Quite a few. I've started like over 10, and they all just lasted 2 weeks. That's the longest.
It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about trying and trying again, and it's about that. That's that. When you're young, it's that practice ground, isn't it? You get to practice and practice, and all those tools and those little dots that you're creating now, all these seeds you're planting is going to be, it's going to be a beautiful garden one day.
And also I really want to travel in the future, because at the moment, since my age, I'm unable to travel by myself, but once I'm old enough, I'll just be traveling around the world because I really want to see other places, how other people live.
Yeah, can't wait. What's something you hope the world is like when you grow up?
I hope the world still has that kind of sense of like humbleness and humility as it does, because as we are getting older, as the world is evolving, I find that there's lots of like new, I don't know, you could say evolutions of like also technology, and I just really hope that doesn't change people from who they are in the future. And even now, just as a general, I hope that the world still is a kind and friendly, humble place where we can all be together and have a great time.
I love that. That is a great hope for the future. And tell me, Bella, what has it been like growing up in a Croatian family? And when I say Croatian, your dad is explaining to the listeners your dad's background and then obviously your mum. So how has it been growing up in that environment with those two cultures?
So my father, he is Samoan. So my grandma is Samoan, and so he comes from a Samoan background. He was also born in New Zealand and came to Australia. And my mum is an immigrant from Croatia. So I think between those, they're two extremely different cultures, probably coming from...
What's the best description to describe, like, Moana?
Yeah.
Moana would be like the cartoon, would be like the best, probably like Samoa.
Yes.
The island, if people don't know where that is. It's between, where is it?
It is past, it's more out to sea past New Zealand. So, yeah, it's pretty out there in the ocean, like
very far away from
islands. So, yeah, they're probably like on different sides of the world. But I love just the different culture. I feel like I explore more of the Croatian culture, because my father, he doesn't have a like large family as my mum's side does. So I really enjoy the two different cultures, and I just love, like, on my dad's side, hanging out with the different like culture over there to see what it's like and how, like, my dad tells me all the stories and everything, and it's just really amazing. But then also just, I love growing up in a Croatian family because I love the food. That is the best bonus. Get yourself some Croatian friends, sisters.
And we talk loud.
In the shops, I can hear them from the other side of the shop. But that's one of the best things. It's just been amazing. And of course, learning the different languages and the different outfits and just the different cultures and how they live. That's what's really important, and I love it.
Awesome, great description. Is there a Croatian tradition or food you secretly love, even if you pretend you don't?
I don't think I pretend to not like something. Maybe in front of Bubba I do, because I don't want to say anything bad. So I'm just like, yeah, this is great, this is great. But I really enjoy pita, and all that. And I love Easter and Christmas. And I love bread with the candle and then eating it. It's amazing. I love all the different traditions. And there's a couple foods that I don't like, but I just love all the traditions. I think it's I'm never not going to like them.
Yeah, same.
Something to remember.
And what's your favourite Croatian food that makes you go yum every time?
I think I just said I love pita.
Yeah.
Especially when Bubba makes it. She makes it the best. And also, I love her scrambled eggs, which might sound a bit like, that's not really traditional food, but she makes it so good. And I actually found out her secret. A lot of oil. I didn't need to know that.
I should have brought a bottle of oil here.
I did not. Yeah, I did.
That's one thing that you didn't need to know.
I didn't need to know that, but now I do. So
when we were children, my older brother, our little brother wasn't born then, and your mum, we used to love when our baba would make the eggs, and it used to be called chimbud, which is actually, I think, comes derived from a Turkish word. But there's a lot of Turkish words in that area where we grew up. She would do it in a big pan and then as well had the eggs like that with fresh bread and things. The baba makes the fresh bread. And that was our favourite thing to eat. It's crazy. Something so basic and simple.
Yes.
But so yummy. So I can relate to that for sure. And do you speak or understand any Croatian? And if not, do you want to learn?
I do. When I was younger, actually, I used to speak just almost full Croatian. I think as I've gotten older, and since in Australia, there are quite a few people who speak different languages, but of course the main language is English. So it's like I've lost my traditional tongue. But I definitely think I am trying to learn it more, and I do understand specific words. But when Mum or Baba or you are talking in full sentences, sometimes I wish I knew so that I knew, I could just listen in on your conversations. But I do. And I still want to learn it. Even if I didn't, I definitely want to
Do you feel like, because when you were little, obviously it was different, even with Vito, he knew a lot more when he was smaller, and then as he got older and he went to school and everything, it's hard because it's not all around you. The language isn't all around you, so that makes it difficult to study on the side. So I get it. But we can work on that all together as a family, and as well get the kids on board, even the little ones too. What do you think when you hear me, your mum and baba speaking Croatian around you?
I wish I knew, because sometimes they talk in a really serious tone, and it almost sounds like there's something going on, or drama or something. And I wish I knew. Yeah, I'm definitely going to learn it for that specific reason.
What's something baba or dida always say or does that cracks you up, that makes you laugh?
Conket.
Can you tell us the story about Conket?
I have a younger brother, and he was on his bicycle, I think, and he was riding on the concrete on the footpath across the road from our house, and my Dido was there, and he said, slow down, Conket, as in concrete.
Because he doesn't know how to say concrete.
Yeah, so it's just a thing that stayed in the house, just forever a joke, and it's hilarious.
It is funny. There is a lot of bloopers.
Yes.
If you had to explain Croatian culture to your friends who don't know it, what would you say?
If I could say one word, I'd just say food. But I think it's a very rich culture. It's in Croatian, you can also explore a bunch of different cultures that spread out, almost family tree from the main Croatian. And I just love the traditions of it. I think that's a very important part. And how just friendly, and it should just feel so warm. and like cozy, and it's just a great culture. That's how.
And what do you think, why do you think the food is such an integral part of it, like an important part? What do you think the food does when Baba makes you a meal that you love? Or if someone else made it, would it have the same significance or importance? You know
I don't think so, because it's really the food that also brings people together, because for like traditions at Christmas, we're always eating food together, and Easter we're eating food together, New
egg
Year's
painting
we're egg painting, exactly. So it's really just, food is a big part, and not just because I love it, I do though, but it's just because I think it's really the thing that brings people together, and it's almost like it's like the second name of Croatian culture.
So it's like a representation of many
Exactly.
other things as well, right? Now we're going to go to immigration and family history. So what do you know about our family coming to Australia?
So my mother's actually told me the story. So when you're living in Yugoslavia, before the Yugoslavian war started, then it was a nice village. It was amazing. And then when the war happened, you couldn't stay in your house. And I'm sure other people also understand that who have been through a war. And just remember, you're not alone. So I understand that you had to leave, and also that a few of your family members had to go into the war to fight. And then you went to Germany and stayed at a refugee camp. And I heard that the refugee camp wasn't very good. And then after trying to come to Australia, I think it was on the 5th time, then you finally were allowed to come to Australia as an immigrant. And then you came over to Australia and stayed in, was it another refugee camp?
No, we stayed in family.
That's
But it's been almost
interesting.
28 years now.
That is an extremely long time. And my mum actually recently got her Australian citizenship.
Yay!
And when she told the people that she's been in Australia for 28 years, they're like, "You're getting it just now?" They were so surprised.
Yeah. When you think about immigration, what comes to your mind?
I think of other people coming to different countries. That is probably, like, the word immigration. It's just you're thinking of something moving, something changing to another place. So I think it's just really not always people as well. If we're basing it on people, then it's people coming to different countries, and either because like they want to, or because like your story, then
A refugee.
yeah,
because
they don't
to.
have a choice.
Yeah.
So I really think that it's just about changing and moving.
And why do you think our family story is important to remember and share?
I think it's important to remember just because it shows how resilient the family actually is, and how even though you went through such hard things, you can still come back and now you're living a great life, have your own Balkan Sister podcast, and yeah, it's really amazing. And I think it's just sharing your story is also really good for other people to know that if you went through this or you need anything, like, you're not alone, and there's other people who have been through this that can help you.
That's right. And when we share, it's right, other people feel less alone in what they're going through, because sometimes when we go through hard things, we feel like we're the only ones going through it, isn't it? So we're going to jump to Bella's take on life. Bella, what is something you've changed your mind about in the past year?
I definitely think there's two. One of them is mentally, my confidence. I explained for one of the things that I was nervous about when starting high school. I definitely think I've gained more confidence. And another thing, which I'm sure some other people can relate, is probably being more confident to spend my money as well, because I used to just not want to spend any money, and now I've gotten into things, and if I like something, then I, of course, think about it, like, don't go spending all your money just because I said so. Don't blame it on me either. But I definitely think that I've gotten more confident in, hey, I like this, I'm going to acknowledge that. Do I need it? No. But do I really like it? Yes. Okay, that's okay. I'll spend my money on that. And also, like,
And
all
you know
of
that,
the-
like, money will come back to you again.
yeah. And all the, like, trending like brands. Of course, don't go and spend all of your money on them, because some of them, it's not true how good they are, because that's just how advertisement works, of course. But I definitely explored a couple different brands, and I've been like, oh, I like this, not so much, I won't spend it. And it's also for next time as well. So I definitely think spending my money and being more confident mentally is definitely something.
That's some good feedback, Bella. And what advice would you give to someone younger than you starting high school?
Be kind. And also, people will change in high school. People will change every year. People that you won't like, then they'll be really nice to you, and then you'll probably end up being friends with them, and then your best friend might decide that they don't want to hang out with you anymore, and that's totally fine. But don't get put down. I remember my primary teacher, before we left, she said people will change in high school. People will change all the time, but you just have to be true to yourself, and you don't change. And that's the most important part, because you can be going through hard things, and at school, especially in high school, there can be a lot of like drama, and you can have friendships break up, and it can be really hard for you. But I just think that you don't want to lose your self-worth, even if people change.
Oh, that's great feedback. That is great advice. And Bella, what do you think makes someone a good friend?
Trust. You need to be able to trust them. And if somebody is like putting you down, that's not a good friend. If somebody's talking behind your back in a bad way, that's not a good friend. And you always, especially in high school, but just in life as a general, you want to make sure that you have good friends and people that you can support, and people that support you, and that you can lean back on when you need help, because the best friends will stay there with you. And
all the tough times.
Exactly.
That's great, Bella. I agree. It's hard. It is hard to find good friends, but as long as you have, honestly, one or two good friends, I think that
you don't need a group in your life.
That's right. And do you think adults understand what it's like to be a kid these days?
That's a hard question. I do think some adults do understand, but in this generation, I think lots of people and adults have been extremely like stereotypical, because it's all this new technology. So they're just thinking, oh, kids are on technology all the time, and they're rude now, and it's affecting them. So I just think some adults do understand, and especially if they're parents, they will understand a lot better. But I definitely think that some kids in this generation have been stereotyped, and it's not always their fault, because it's like they're not putting out all this technology, they're not putting out all this information, all of this like brain rot,
it's like just an assumption that all children are the same, and that they're all like that they're all on screens, and they're all just I know what you mean, stereotyping them, putting them all together, when there's actually a lot of great children around doing a lot of great things in the world. And what do you think about kids growing up now, like with phones and social media and so much screen time? What do you think about that?
Of course, kids are being stereotyped, but adults are not always wrong when they do stereotype kids, because some kids are like that. Some kids are really also affected, and I definitely think it's affected society as well, because it's like these kids are just growing up with phones, so that's all they know.
But who's given them the phone? So ultimately, it's not really the child, like the minor's fault, because they can't just go out and buy a $1,200 phone.
Exactly.
And also, all of us are on our phones too. So adults are being impacted as well.
Yeah.
But the difference is that our prefrontal cortex is developed past 28, so that we have a different, like we can rationalize a different way when there's threats or danger, or we know how to protect ourselves. Whereas when young adults are quite young, they haven't maybe got the ability to do that as well or as fast. So what do you think about that, in terms of, especially in Australia now, there's a lot of talk about banning social media under like the age of 14, I think it was, from reading. What do you think about all of that?
I definitely think that it is a good age. I think anywhere from 14 to 16 is a good age to get social media. Of course, like, your mind's not fully developed and you should definitely have limits on it and like parental controls and all that. But I definitely think it is important, and I actually think it's great that the government and are taking action, because maybe they are noticing changes and maybe they are realizing this is the future of our generation. So it's like we need to help them. We need to make sure that they are going to survive and not that the phone is all that they know.
Yeah. And what do you think is a good age to get your first phone or social media account?
I think 14 to 16 is a good. Of course, it depends on like parents and also your situation. Like, if you need a phone younger because of some situation that you're having, then that's really up to your parents. But I definitely think not too young. And social media is a great place where you can connect with other people, but it also can be really dangerous as well. And just there can be like lots of like bad people on there who don't want the best for people, don't want the best for children. And children, of course, going back to the first question, what I think about it, they unknowingly think that it's probably like another 10-year-old or 9-year-old or like anywhere around that age. They think it's another, but it's probably an adult, whether male, female, because it can really be anyone. And just, this is totally like off subject, not one of the questions, but people also think that when it's like, they're always like, oh, it's probably like an 80-year-old man behind the screen, but it can also be somebody else. It can be a woman, it can be a child.
It can be anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And dog.
What challenges do you think kids face these days that maybe our parents or older cousins didn't have to deal with?
I definitely think they face the challenge, of course, like social media. Back when you were young, you didn't have social media, so it really affects their creativeness because you were outside or you were like playing, you were using your imagination and your mind. You were really putting your brain to work to try and think of things that could entertain you, but they're just like doom scrolling mindlessly. And it can also be like, extremely dangerous as well, because if they see something that really affects them, or somebody's like, they find something that someone's like talking about them or something like that, it can really affect them. And it can make them not want to be here, which is really something that's affected, because I feel like back when you were young, there was very less like people hurting themselves because of, I think very much social media is really affecting that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what do you see in your environment when you guys communicate on Messenger kids and things like that? Like, what are you seeing in the school systems at the moment between your friends or other people that might not be your friends? What are you seeing? Is it actually helping you be more creative and be more connected, or do you feel like it's doing the opposite, or a bit of both?
I think it's definitely doing a bit of both. It also depends on how much you use social media, and just not just social media, how much you just are on your phone. And on your like phone and screen, tablets, whatever you have, PC, monitor, blue screen is like blue light is actually known to make people more aggressive and more like annoyed and frustrated and worked up. And so that's also something that really affects them. And I just think from what I've seen is, for my school, we use devices, we use tablets for all of our work. which I definitely think is just really also affects everything else, because it's instead of handwriting an essay or something, or using school tablets only when we're doing specific things, we're always working on it. We're always submitting assignments through like Microsoft Teams through the device.
So do you wish it wasn't like that?
I definitely think so. I think I understand that devices would be good, and I definitely don't want to get rid of our devices, but I definitely think we should use them less during, instead of just like doing everything on our device, because that's what we do. Like, the most writing we do is probably down in math and English, because we have to write down equation, because there's no divider by symbol on the keyboard. So it's, but for the other things, it's just really hard, because it's just really affecting also students as well. And it's also another worry, because it's like, the devices are extremely heavy. My bag, I know.
Oh my God, your bag.
So extremely heavy.
It's so
She
heavy.
picked me up from school and she put it, she's like, "You want me to a bag?"
I think the bag weighed more than an actual toddler, like a child. It needs wheels. Like, it needs to be a mini suitcase.
Yeah.
But so I've got a lovely lady that I'm in touch with. She has a page on Instagram called Eurotrippers. So she has 2 daughters. If she's listening, I want to say hi. So it's her and her husband. They moved from Melbourne to Serbia with their 2 daughters. And I think they're like, one is almost starting high school and one's 3 years younger. And she told me that in Serbia, it's like full old school. Like, I think they go to school in Belgrade, in the capital city. And it's no laptops, no iPads, nothing. It's, you learn from a book. So like, you open the book and you start it, and that's where you start, and then you finish when the book ends, and that's how they learn. So it's really old school in that way. How would you feel about that coming back, or you learning in that type of way?
I definitely think it would be a lot harder, but I definitely think it would train our brains more and actually make us learn, or make us more aware, because instead of just being on a screen the whole time and just pressing buttons and doing all of that, we're actually using our brain. And I definitely think reading is extremely important. How I would feel about it, I think at first I would be a bit like, oh no, I have to like, oh no,
I have to write so much.
I have to write down instead of pressing buttons. But I definitely think after a while it's really good, and I think it's great that they're still keeping that tradition and doing that.
100%. And you do love to read. You're a bookworm.
Yes, I love
reading. You
reading.
described yourself to me a few years ago. You said, Tete, I feel like I'm an old lady, like an old baba, trapped in a young girl's body.
Yes, that's what I always say.
You love the garden, and you love like cottage and like just nature and books and everything like that. Do you have any favourite books, Bella, at all?
I like different genres of books. At the moment I'm into novels. I do a couple of like children's books. I haven't gotten into more adult books yet. And I definitely like the David Williams books. He makes children's books, but they're also very informative and detailed as well. And I also enjoy chapter books, Harry Potter books. Oh, and I love Roald Dahl's books. I love his books. They're incredible. So I love different types of books, but I really like fiction books that have lots of adventure and different like twists and turns to them.
Love it, Bella. And how and what do you think about AI? And how do you think, and funnily enough, my tattoo says AI from 15 years ago. I just noticed that the other day on my wrist for mine and Uncle Asia's initials. And how do you think it will affect your life as you grow up?
I think that it will definitely make people more lazy, because people need to understand that when you're using AI, ChatGPT, Copilot, all the different types of AIs out there, when you're using them, you have to use them to help you, but not to do everything for you. Because of course, they can give wrong information, and it's not always their fault when they give wrong information. There is a little tab there that says they make mistakes sometimes, but it's like people will also, I feel they'll be affected by it, because it will just make people more lazy, because all they have to do is just ask, say, ChatGPT to write their essay. And of course the school can check on that, but really the person doesn't care, because they're just using that to their advantage.
Yeah, so it's in a way making us a bit lazier.
Yeah, definitely.
In a sense, more lazier than what we already are mentally, and
you have to use it to help you, give you advice if you need, or correct. Like I use it sometimes to correct my spelling, but you don't want to use it to write your whole thing.
You don't want it to be like your first go-to. You want it to be your last go-to. So where you've already done the work and then you're just putting it through there. Yeah. So we're going to do some fun rapid fire round questions, Bella. Okay. I've loved everything that you've shared with us so far. I think it's really important.
Thank you.
So tell me, we're going to switch it up now. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
For anyone who lives overseas, okay, we've got a lot of listeners in Canada, a lot of listeners in America, plus Europe as well, all over the place.
Yeah.
Of the diaspora that's scattered all over the world. And a lot of people obviously don't eat pineapple on pizza. It's just not a thing. It's only a thing in Australia because it's like a tropical fruit.
I enjoy.
Do you think you can't get pineapple on pizza in Italy though?
Yeah, that's true. I totally understand that. And I just enjoy it. Like I don't eat it all the time, but it's really a question whether do I think it tastes good on it? Yes, I think it tastes good. So,
chocolate.
Yeah, let's move on to the next question.
But you did grow up in Australia, so of course, because even Uncle Andrew loves it too.
Yeah,
you know?
I just like it as a
It's starting to grow on me slowly. It's starting to grow on me. Okay, so who's your favorite celebrity, or I wouldn't say influencer. I would say, do you have a favorite person of influence? Is there anyone that you listen to or watch or anything that you think, I really like what they're saying?
I definitely like, for celebrity, I definitely like Adele. I understand this was a while ago, but I like how she just completely changed her life for the better, and how she was living a really unhealthy life, and she just decided to change it for, and how she really does things for herself, for other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's really inspiring and something that and I love her voice as well. Like, it's amazing.
She's talented.
Yeah.
So she does
it's just really, she's a really big inspiration for me.
Love it. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Yeah?
Because if I'm just like want to go to the other side of the world, I can just go there and then get a bunch of food and then just come right back.
Yeah,
like
same.
That's super simple.
Same. Oh, that would be incredible. Dream holiday destination.
I definitely want to go to like an island. I want to go to Hamilton Island and like the Love Heart Island. I think that's a great spot. I want to go to Hawaii, but it's very expensive there. And it's not my dream holiday destination, but I want to go to America just because they have so many things that we don't have in Australia.
And do you ever want to visit Croatia and Bosnia and all those parts of the world one day?
I want to see all my family, and just, it'll be amazing.
You will. I believe that you will. And if you could swap lives with someone for a day, anyone at all, who would it be?
I think I would swap lives with probably a famous person. I'm not fully sure who yet. I think I would probably swap lives with a famous influencer or something, and then make them mail all their stuff to me. And then I get it all.
All the gift packages?
All the gift PR packages. Mail it all to me.
So then you don't have to go out and buy it.
Yep.
If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
Azizam by Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
Listen to it. It's amazing.
We do love that song, I must say. Would you rather travel time travel to the past or the future?
To the future, I think. I just want to see what the world's going to be like in the future. Probably take some stuff back.
And to wrap it up, Bella, if your future self, let's say age 22, could hear this podcast one day, what would you want her to know?
I want her to know that at the moment, I think in the future she'll know that everything's going to be okay. And I think looking back on this, I'm probably going to be like just laughing at myself. So future Bella, if you're watching this, I'm probably just going to be laughing at myself. But I definitely think I want her to know that I love marshmallows.
Lovely. That everything's going to be all right, and that you love marshmallows. And what would you want parents to understand about raising kids and teenage girls in today's age?
that everyone's changing and everyone's different and everyone's going through different experiences as well. And especially as like when you're becoming a teenager and when you are a teenager, your mentalities are going to change on things and you might be acting different. So they just need to understand that this is all normal. And I definitely know that multiple parents do, and they're really like loving during this time. So I definitely think that they just need to understand that everyone's going through a different experience and just to support as well.
Yeah, and what if some parents are struggling with their teenagers, doesn't matter boy or girl, what would you, obviously depending on the situation it's always different, but like what if they're saying I want a phone and why can't I have social media? Because that's what I'm hearing a lot as well with Mito. He's at school and he's like, why can't I have Roblox and why can't I have Minecraft? Why can't I do this and that? And wants to have the iPad every day, and I said no. So what can parents do about that when their kids is coming to saying, oh, but all my friends are doing it?
I think you just need to probably just sit them down and have a family talk, just like a genuine, heartfelt talk, just saying that they don't need to be like other people because all they need to be is themselves, and just tell them that the time will come. It's not going to be like this forever, no matter like what they're going through, especially like if it's anything, not just if they want a phone, or if things will change and they'll get better.
Yeah. 100%, I agree. Yeah, it won't always stay that way, and things will change. And when they're a little bit older and more mature, that's when you can give them a little bit more time and freedom and flexibility to do those things. So, Bella, is there anything you want to leave our listeners with? So, a thought, a quote, or a message that matters to you?
I love this quote. If you have a choice to be kind or be right, always choose to be kind. Being kind is right.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Stop it. I love it. Anything else you want to say to other Balkan kids like me or your mum? Or we're still kids at heart. Aussie kids, or even could be American kids, European kids, kids all over the world, or your future self listening out there, what would it be?
I have a couple of things. I really also just want to know what it's like for other people as well, and that you're not the only one that likes marshmallows.
Marshmallows are big.
And M&M's.
And M&M's. Yeah, it would be interesting to know how American kids are living, Canadian kids are living, as well, like European kids are living, like around about your age. So maybe I would encourage for parents who are listening to this podcast, or even young people, or could even be someone who's in their 20s and then has a younger sibling or anything like that, what life is like for you at the moment. Becoming a teenager or raising a teenager or a small person,
and just
young adult.
Yeah, always to just be yourself. Don't change yourself for other people, because other people can change and they always will be changing around you, but don't change yourself for other people. Of course, change if you want to, and we're all going to change in the future. We're all going to like different things and enjoy different things and always like marshmallows, but I definitely think that don't change yourself for other people. Change yourself for you.
Especially while you're developing as well. I think it's important to, like, while you're developing, because you're still developing what you like and what you don't like, all those sort of things. And then if you let other people's opinions influence you, you don't know if it's coming from an authentic place, right? But it's a good message to end on for everybody out there who's listening, because I think whether you're a young person, and we're all young at heart, forever young, but whether you're growing up through those really formative years or you have already grown up, I'm still raising myself, by the way. I'm still growing. I'm still growing up every day. I'm learning through you guys. I'm learning through you and your brother and Vito and through everybody. So even through my little baby girl, like, you guys teach me stuff all the time, which I absolutely love, and I feel like that keeps us young at heart as well. So I want to say it's been a privilege to have my Bella on here, and we are going to ask for permission if we can post this around her mum.
Yes.
So please say yes. And it's important just to keep grounded and stick together and know where your roots come from, but it's also really important to grow and to flourish as well. So, like a beautiful big tree that we were talking about. So we went for a walk with our dog Mina today, and we both said we love big trees, massive trees. And when you look at these beautiful massive trees here in Australia, it's like they're so thick on the bottom with these really deep roots, and beautiful branches full of green leaves. I hope that as you grow, we can be part of those beautiful big greeny leaves, and that we continue to create many more memories.
You and everybody out there, be a tree.
Yes.
Because
eat marshmallows and be a tree.
Eat marshmallows and be a tree, and just grow tall, and not actually physically grow tall, but mentally as well. Grow tall.
And you can do hard things. And you can do hard things.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can do hard things.
And keep your roots strong.
Yeah. And if you're going through hard things, you can come through the other side, but you need also lots of support and lots of love and nurture and help to get there. So
find people who love you for who you are.
That's right. I love that. And that's a really great way to end our podcast. We've already been going for almost 50 minutes or so for us. We're going to go have brunch now at the Marriott Resort. We're going to go for a drive, and then we're going to pick up the babies. And it's just been so much fun hanging out with my beautiful Bella Bear. It's been absolutely amazing, and I'm so glad that I get to bring her on. I hope she comes on. She's going to be my little expert, and I'm going to go to her for everything. So I do want to bring her back more often.
You'll see me a lot more.
If you have questions for Bella and for me of any kind of what we talked about today, make sure that you're writing on Spotify. You can rate the show, give it 5 stars, and then on the bottom you can write a comment. Like, people can actually interact on there, which is really awesome. And obviously on Apple Podcasts, you can go over there and rate that as well, and share it with your daughter, your niece, your cousin, with anybody, like your auntie, anybody. And enjoy being an auntie, because it's just the biggest privilege in the whole wide world. I love it. And thank you, Bella. God, we've talked about a lot today. We've talked about school, about growing up, about future thinking, families, tradition, immigration, family history, your take on life, growing up today, AI, fun rapid fire questions. Pineapple got in there. Marshmallows got in there. Trees got in there. We've covered quite a lot of ground. And I want to thank you for sticking with us and for listening. And please go and support the podcast, and make sure that you're writing if you have any questions, and then me and Bella can come on another time.
Yep.
And do a bit of a Q&A. And yes.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah,
right questions, sisters.
Yeah.
Right questions.
Get her to come back and do another encore and get more of Bella's wisdom coming your way. So thank you for listening, and can't wait to see you next time.
Bye.
Ciao. So that was the episode. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And as ever, if you did, please consider sharing it with your loved ones and leaving me a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It really does make a difference to the number of Balkan sisters that we can reach with the brilliant wisdom that my guests and I share. Thanks for being here. I do viđenja.